Hello everyone, I am back and I spent the day disassembling and cleaning. Show you what I got. Took all the stuff out of the inside that was piled in there, cleaned up the car itself. I just used soap and water. I'm getting ready to go get something else. I'm going to try gasoline. I tried alcohol, it didn't do anything. Rubbing alcohol, it didn't do anything. Most of it cleaned up except for some of this dirt, I guess, in the front, and then the areas where they actually use duct tape to, I guess, protect the edges or whatever. And the duct tape residue, you can see where it's still in place. And then there's places where the dirt just stuck to the surface really badly. So again, I'm going to go try to get some other stuff besides soap and water. See what it does. But the rest of it, like that top, it looks pretty good. The doors look pretty good. I mean, I could polish this and it would look really good, but there's no point in doing that because the paint is eventually going to come off. There is the other door. It's looking pretty good. A few spots here and there. Use the vacuum. There was a lot of mouse poop in this thing and I didn't want to mess with that, so there was a vacuum here, and so I grabbed it and vacuumed that up. I need to get a bag for that, obviously. I just didn't do the inner fenders yet. I'll do that when I get back and get some of that other cleaner stuff. It's not 100%, it's just better than it was. One of the weird things I ran into was the rear fender vents, the brake cooling ducts. Underneath this is the that was here. You can see it is located there. If I put this new piece on that we're going to use and line it up with that, it's way off as far as alignment here. So that just means that the ducts in each case are not in the same location relative to the car. I am going to assume that the ones on this top are in the correct place, since somebody grafted, it looks like, grafted those vents on. It could easily have grafted it in the wrong spot. So I will fix that. I would like some ideas on what to do about this back piece. One, it's cut or broken. It looks like it was cut. I have no earthly idea why they cut that. I don't know if they felt it needed to come straight down, whereas, you know, if you look, if it would have been in there, it would have been curved in more. I don't know. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas on what to do about that. The other thing is it only has the 2 holes cut. It doesn't have the other holes cut. Ideally, what I'd like to do is get another one of these rear pieces and just graft it on. If anyone knows where to get them and they're not obscenely priced, that would be a great option, I think. You can see that this blue underneath is going to have to be cut off so that I can put this new piece on. It'll cover up those vents, so I didn't spend time cleaning up those vents because they're not going to be there. One of the bizarre things I ran into, it's a good thing I cleaned this out. You get all kinds of surprises, and usually they're not great surprises. In this case, the same thing happened. When I took the seat out, first off, these are C6, I think, Corvette seats. These things are amazingly light. The seat bottom is plastic, the frame is aluminum, the back is plastic. I've got several first generation Camaros, and getting the seats in and out of those sucks. Even the aftermarket ones, they're just unbelievably heavy. This one, I can handle it by myself. I was bracing myself to pick it up, and I didn't need to. So if I look over there, you look over there, you can see where they've added the hump for the tubular frame to come through. With the seats in, it looked like it was all done. When I pulled these seats out, I see that it's not, so I'm going to have to continue that. All right, and that brings up the other issue. Let me get this seat out of the way. This is hard to do with one hand. Yes, it's light, but it's not that light. Okay. With the seat in place, I pulled the seat up, and they had cut this tube. And you know why they cut the tube? Because the seat base rubs across. The seat won't sit flat. and it won't sit as low as possible if that tube is left round. So I guess they welded another plate in there to strengthen it. Got me. Anyway, obviously I'm going to need to weld that closed, and then I'm going to have to close all of this in. The seat tracks, those holes are unfortunately necessary for the seat to sit as low as it was intended and to still slide forwards and backwards. The owner of this car is tall and kind of big, so he wants as much room as possible, and you know, a lot of people that are bigger have trouble with these cars because it is a tight fit. So putting the seat down using the, I guess the C6 seat, I'm not sure if those tracks are to it or not, but anyway, and then the extended floor gives a lot more driver room. So, but unfortunately it also means work that I was not anticipating having to do. The rear end, I misspoke. I thought it was a Ford 9-inch just because that's what I was told. It's not. It is a C4 Corvette Dana 44. They came with a Dana, is it 33, 34? I don't remember. Or a Dana 44. The automatic transmissions came with the weaker Dana 30, whatever it is, and the manual transmissions came with the stronger Dana 44. Not a big issue from what I've read unless you're drag racing it and on slicks, but if you're just street driving it, the 33, I'm going to call it 33, it might be a 32. Anyway, the lesser Dana is sufficient, but if you're going to really beat on it, you want the stronger one. Luckily, this does have the stronger one. Oh, let's see, everything cleaned up decent. I mean, I didn't expect miracles. Oh, of course I aired up the tires. I have a small air compressor over there, one of the pancake ones. Unfortunately, I don't have a tire chuck. And so this, rather than go get one, buy one, and do that, I found these two battery powered ones, cigarette lighter power ones, auxiliary power ones, whatever you want to call them. The first one, it wouldn't fit, the head wouldn't fit in between the valve stem and the wheel. You can see the valve stem sticks straight out, and I could get it in there, but it wouldn't put air in. Luckily, the second one is slightly different. It's a lot the same, slightly different on the end, and it just fit in there. So anyone that's used these knows it took forever for the dumb thing to air up, but at least now it is on aired up tires. The reason I did that is because these, oh, that's not the right one. Wherever it is, the wheel dollies, there we are, that allow you to lift up a car, rely on the tire to be aired up. We tried it on those two flat tires, and it just smashed the tire, and even with it its tightest adjustment, it wouldn't lift up the car enough to slide. So I'm gonna get a tire gauge and check these and air them up. Let's see. I can't really think of anything else to cover here. I still have a few miscellaneous pieces. This is what the pieces, most of them look like. In fact, these are better than most of them looked when I cleaned them up. And I think that's it. Oh, I'm going to get some rust treatment. I've used it in the past, but I can't remember what the name of, Osvo, I think was what I used in the past. But I've also found stuff that's better, but I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, I'm going to treat all of the parts there that you see rust on, kind of clean them up, suspension parts. And then I'm going to use a wire brush and that to clean up this channel right here and see how solid. It feels solid, it just looks bad. My next thing is to remove this front end, but as you can see, space is tight here and I'm pretty much at the limit. So I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. Same thing with this. If I cut the back off, then I've got more stuff to store around here. I am trying to clean up a little bit as I go, get some more working room. All of these tires, I'm going to, they were stacked back there and we had to move them to get stuff out. And so I'm going to move them back out of the way. That'll give me an extra couple of feet to work, because there is a little bit of space over there that I can store stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, no, I already discussed the cleaners that I'm going to use. I'm going to try a couple of different cleaners to get this cleaned up. And all right, I guess that's all I can think of for right now. I'm making progress. I am tracking how much time I'm spending, because that was one of my questions that no one seemed to be able to answer, other than some obscenely high estimates. When I asked how long it would take to do this, one guy said 3,200 hours and another guy said 2,500 hours, and those are obscene. I mean, if you think about it, a typical body shop gets $100 an hour minimum. So 3,200 hours times $100 an hour is $320,000. The car, when it's done, isn't worth anywhere near that. So that would be dumb to spend 3,200 hours on something like this. Same way with a 2,500 hour estimate. 2,500 hours times $100 an hour is $250,000, $250,000. This isn't going to be a $250,000 car. I did go online and check, and some of these have sold recently in years for several for significantly less than $100,000. To me, the benchmark to compare it to would be the Superformance one. I think they went around $125,000 for a roller. By the time you put an LS motor and transmission and all that and upgrade it, I read it ends up being $175,000, $185,000. So that, to me, you need to stay under that. Although I guess some people say because this is a real Corvette, maybe you can stretch that. But unfortunately, the prices that I've seen on the market don't support that theory at all. Okay. I did not get around to cleaning back here. We talked about taking this, putting it on a trailer, and trailering it to a car wash and washing it down. That was an option, but honestly, I think that would take a whole day. Kill a whole day to go get a trailer, load it up, take it to the car wash, wash it down, and bring it back. I don't see gaining a day's worth of work out of doing it that way, as opposed to cleaning it manually. All right, if you have any ideas or suggestions on what to do about this floor pan, because again, I was not expecting to have to do this. I'm going to have to get, in the past I've used PVC pipe, and then I put fiberglass over the PVC pipe, and then it comes out with a nice tube. The outside surface right here is obviously the rougher surface. The inside of it is glass smooth because of the PVC, but I doubt I would find one big enough to cut it and then put it on the inside. So I think I'll be happy enough to do it on the outside. Surface doesn't end up bad, it just doesn't end up, kind of disappointing. The surface that looks the best, you don't even see. Same thing with those openings. I've got to figure out how to close those. Obviously, I want enough room that it's not ever going to flex and hit that tube. But it does need to cover it. And then I've got to do something again about making clearance for the seat where it does that. There'll be a flat plate there, and then this piece will have to be flat as well. I'm not sure about these other areas where they cut it out here. I'm guessing that's the seat mounting hole there and there. I didn't really look at it yet because I was pulling the seat out and I'd have to put it back in and see where it mounts. All right, I think that's it. If you have any questions, suggestions, ideas, what you would do next, I'm open for any and all suggestions. I'm just kind of winging it here. All right, like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate, and if you don't know what I'm doing, you don't know jack. Bye.